Isn't it interesting that I've not even used this Melon app? I've used a different social media platform, and they're hacking into the computer. This is what they're doing, you see. I'm not even using this Melon app at all. I'm using StreamYard, yeah? And this is how they get into your network. So I'll go into YouTube, and look what I find and messed about with. Let's just see. Let's see if we do it this right this time. Okay, showing. That's employees, 2 of them turned up. Witness now. Let's see if we do it this right. And basically, nutshell. Hancock Limited Company agents can 10:30 will witness in outside in the corridor. The smell stinks. And outside my door. American controlling the mouse. Yeah. Let's see now. Yeah, so the carpet in these ripped up. I'm replacing. They won't do it. And so that's 5 days ago now. So we will witness 1 male, 1 female. And the main floor outside my door needs a deep clean. It's unhealthy. And it is a public health issue. So the companies they hired, which I called up to report, nobody else in the block does. The block drain, which when it's been raining, it's flooded and it's come in to the main hallway. So now it's left over with the mud and all this horrible, disgusting stuff. So it blocks the safe access, not just for me, but others walking in and out of the front side of the block of flats, which is meant to be disabled access. These housing employees, gaslighters, for years. As a particular one male today, he didn't need his walking stick this time. It's the psychological tactics they do. And I know see what it's doing there. Yeah, so Tuesday, 11:30 in the morning. So this is all part of it. And it really does stink. So I have to make sure outside my door, because it's literally reeks, smells. I mean, you need like a Is that the best you can do? Disconnect, reconnect. Well, don't worry, I've got evidence of what you do. Demonic. UK target program, hacking internet. Yeah, one viewer. But just because they're using a different platform. Demonic. Neuromonitoring. Remote neuromonitoring. Yeah. Demons are getting all the just reward. What you do. I've got the other evidence to upload that. I'm not even using this plugin. More evidence. So, breaking last night as well. Let's go back to my videos on this channel, shall we? Of the demonic evidence. A health hazard by the Perch UK 2 days ago. That was so staged. And then the housing block 2 days ago. And yeah, the employees. The police use UK dangerous. So 3 days ago, they put all the mud, leaves, and blocked the drain. So when eventually the out of hours individual company did not come out till Monday, instead of Saturday, late Friday, Saturday, last weekend, they didn't come out till yesterday morning and unblocked the drain. But it was still getting flooded because they put bricks by the drainage downpipe outside the main door and by the garden area, and they don't clean it. They still got scaffolding up. It's dangerous. The weight is there for 4 or 5 months. There's no work done, and it's all outside my flat. Yeah. So, and then you get the downpour of the water, really due to more floods and in the area. So it caused the perps demonically. They just say demonic. Block the drain, and I've got audio evidence of this too, offline. And so it floods in. This is absolutely 10 old years, isn't it? If it snows, yeah, then you can expect not the height, 4 inches level of water to come under a door. Now the door is slightly slants downwards, the cement part of the entry. And if you're coming in from the soak area, none of the area is cleaned outside either, which is the duty. I've looked at the company's website. So my rents, like anybody else's, part of the rent's meant to go to these companies that are hired on behalf of UK housing company, Hungary Limited, to do this. And yeah, it's not done. So, because I checked the online policy and how often it's going to be done. So the dangers, get your own garden cutters out to cut the weeds away, because these weeds are like stinging nettle types, and the types of the stems, if you brush against them, you're going to get injured. Not seriously, but just enough on the skin if you're not protected. And the way the weather keeps changing. Anyway, so yeah, number 7 is a police informer, definitely. Yeah, 200 couple cops there, not that long ago, matter of literally a day and a half ago. And last night, during the night, well, right, sort of like, it's bad acting, 11:30, 12:30ish a.m. They are getting in, kicking in and breaking the lock to the back door. This all really is focused on this lock. But it's intensified. And then there's criminal damage. And one of them went such an extent where they pulled all the electrics connections out. I've got audio evidence of that. And I've got no disrespect to Perp, the older male, because he is getting on a bit. But they must have something on him to go along with the program and allow his flat to be used as a base. Yeah, so they don't really need that on a community organised stalking. Educateyourself.org is a website, but also targeted justices. Now, don't know how to screen share or StreamYard. I will see how to do this. Oh yeah, here we go. Right. This is basically this is the effect of anti-New World Order, anti-communist. Now, on this, you'll find out if you don't know what the subject is about and the history to date, you can educate yourself on this. And it just goes into, it's really demonic. Let me see if I can go back to the page I found. For the programs of mind control, targeting direct energy, documentation, microwave, mind control, microwave harassment, and the patterns is evidence. Anyone can research this. So they're using my flat for years. Here we go. The devices of mind control. Before I was born. 1956, and it's more to date, obviously. Here's a whole list. This tells you with these patterns, mind control machine. You've got a lot of information. This is worldwide, and with frequencies basically. CP as well, neuromonitoring, remote neuromonitoring. Technology. That's what it's now, of course. This was 1976. Altering brainwaves. You know what they put in the public domain? It is old hat. They use waveforms. I mean, all this has to work together with the global system. This is global. I mean, I found this excellent website. I can't. I've still got it. And this document's been going, links back to the Freemason, the Illuminati, Knights Templar, and much more. deep history and the biblical population control. Awake America, it was called, 1763, and it goes into the black nobility. So all of this, what I'm going through, what others worldwide are going through, this is just nothing compared to history. Yeah. So this is an article of this website, archived, some of it, and it goes into a lot of serious information I'm not going to quote and read. I'm absolutely, my mind has just been hacked into, I just absolutely exhausted. And I'm not going to do nothing but try and rest and sleep. But the radiation effects experimentation exposure is unlawful, inhumane, on top of everything else. So the practical everyday stuff I'm talking about today is on top. So what's the ultimate end game? Is to displace me out my private dwelling based on false presumptions which I've already busted for years. What I'm sharing on here is the history of what they do. If you are a they, it's not just ordinary men and women that just want to join the Freemason Lodge. You're talking about organised demonic groups of individuals who have no morals or standards, the minority, organised. This is worldwide. This is a 65-page document. Details how they do it, how the overview basically of an Illuminati occult programming, and how and what they were doing in ancient Egypt and Babylon. It's really demonic. I'm not going to even describe it, but it's from 2000. The abuse and this former individual she put out, and this document she published in the booklet which I found by chance. The brainwave programming, the military programming, the governmental scholarship program, the programming linked to stories, movies, cartoons, role-playing, dramatisation. It goes into all the steps and chapters. So, 22nd of November 2003, published. We're now 2021. Table of contents and equipment used by trainers, and those are it's well organised, well funded, worldwide. Occult, the abuse, and this individual is a survivor, and she broke free. Don't know how, but she did. And how they make the money, the hierarchy. So anyway, go out of that. Yes, so let's go back to the evidence of the pattern. This is more representing the actual demonstration of it's not just now like with 5G towers. You don't really need that, although they do with the AI and everything more advanced now. But satellites, it is like a grid, the frequencies. It's trying to destroy brain, your consciousness. It can't attack your soul. It's what they're trying to do. It's demonic. And a lot of these things are trying to sell it as something great for humanity, for those that need the support. There's a darkest agenda side to all this. So they do the silent sound of microwaves. This document's quite detailed. The devil, it's NSA devil worshipping. Take over satellite market control. Here you go. It's an informative website, and it gives you links, organised stalking of individuals to enter. I don't make nothing up. I just, for the viewer, it's up to them to research if they want to and find out the truth. And this is what goes on. Okay, so you got the neighbours with equipment nearby where you live. Microwave ovens being converted to a weapon with 800 watts of microwave energy. Large percentage of the radiation reaches the second room. See? And the radiation passes through walls. The power level will drop and can retain at dangerous levels. There you go. Then here another diagram. Even if the levels have been reduced, passing through the walls, people can become negatively affected, and the radiation of long periods of exposure is a diagram for the walls. So that's why they have to move people in where you live as well. It's not just all gas stalking, it's for this technology to be used. And this is the forum on that website, but it's in German, and I don't read German. But you got doctors and experts detailing how this is done as well. That was me. Misuse of this by the terrorists, criminals. It's totally unbelievable, but it's evidence. Misuse of micro weapons, here you go, and yeah, doctor in Germany. So the microwave devices are easy to obtain and built by terrorists or criminals and basic knowledge of electronics. Quote Jim Lewis, Director of Technology, and it goes into where that individual's based and explains Department of Defence and the advance, how they can use non-lethal weapons, and there's mounting evidence, and how the research and how this is done horrifically in Europe goes into more details, links to information. We could do more research. 22-page document this is. Targeting the human with direct energy weapons. 2002. Didn't even know none of this. Jew and crime, perfect crime, Jew and terrorism. Man manipulated microwave oven. Details into 9 systems. Electronic weapons. It's unbelievable. So, these are mental strength and fighting back. Prevention and protection is key. It goes into specifically about the new technologies as well. High frequencies, electric magnetic waves are high strength. Goes into worldwide and who's using these as well. Goes back, 2002. I didn't know this until 2018 onwards. So, yeah. So I'll just get streaming and I'm just going to chill out. And prayers and blessings to those, because it's disgusting. Like, go back to the flat issue. The whole way. This really is. So, and they use the NK Ultra, which is subworld protected. As soon as my phone turns on Wi-Fi, they hack into it. So
amigos, el día de hoy vamos a hablar sobre el control mental y vamos a ver cómo instituciones como la CIA utilizó conocimientos que venían desde los nazis para crear toda una guerra psicológica y poder controlar a las personas. Algo bastante curioso, y no sé si sabían ustedes, pero en la actualidad ya existe la tecnología adecuada para controlar a las personas, para implantar pensamientos, hasta para hacer pensar que estamos escuchando algunas voces, y todo esto es con tecnología de electromagnetismo. Estos estudios se han realizado desde mediados de los años 40, precisamente cuando estaba el auge de este imperio de luz.
It's 12:42 p.m. I went shopping here at Walmart. It is Monday, August 2nd. Those beer cans those fuckers put in there, and that thing right there, okay? It's a tall truck. I don't get to see in here, and they know that. They're watching us, monitoring all around, and then they have their little fucking goddamn being stalkers and reading our minds. Get over that fact. You know what I'm pissed off about? Frederick is moving and his little fucking friends, those little fucking pricks, know how this program works, knows exactly what our perks do, and what do? Our perks are now, my American perks, are serving them. Yeah, not just for me, but all of you, all of us, this world. Buy your own security, infrared, with professional grade facial recognition. Second bid. Hey everyone, just wanted to get on and spit a little knowledge to you guys, some information. So, did you know that they tried to patent DNA and they weren't able to do so because it's natural? It's God's DNA. So in order for DNA to be able to be placed under a patent, it would have to be modified.
Largely energy weapon technology explains.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Speaks. This one's going to be jam-packed information. Yes. So kick back and see if we might have to do it two parts. So yeah, because we don't want one video too long, but we're calling this one
5G, energy weapon technology, explained.
in this particular episode. So in this episode, we're going to be explaining
What is 5G? Are the documentation and evidence?
also what does 5G do to your body and the energy weapon technology that is similar to 5G. Now, before we begin, we just want to let you guys know that all of our shows, we like to show you our products that we know that you're going to love. We have a couple here. First of all of our EMF protection products that make by hand, and I make them ourselves. So this as you can see, we've got things like sleeping pods to help you sleep better, phone shields to protect you from cell phone radiation, necklaces or pyramids to use to grid your property, charge plates to treat your water and your food, and a whole host of other wonderful products. We have over 2,000 happy customers all over the world. And if you have any questions about our products, we have tons of information on the website with scientific research and evidence behind how they work and why they work. And we have a message box here. You can always chat with us live. Also, we wanted to tell you about our book.
So our book, Forbidden Tech, has been a labor of love. It's taken us a couple of years to actually write the book. And among the many topics covered in this book, you'll learn about free energy, patents, political scandals, murderers and cover-ups, engineering-based car, water, surveillance, GameStop, and weapon solutions to protect yourself against them. We've cut out all the fluff and brought you right to the heart of the matter. Now, we have the Forbidden Tech ebook form, which is an instant download, and we have that available on sale for $9.99. We also decided to create an audio book. So if you're on the go, if you're in a car, if you're traveling, you can listen to the audio. Basically, we read out the book, and that's available for download as well. And then finally, we have a video course that is commercial free to get the full effect. It has the the slideshow presentation, so you can follow along with the detailed information that we present in the book. And then finally, we have the printed book, which is available on Amazon.
And of course, you can find links to those websites in the description below. But the best thing to do is to sign up to our Real Speaks website, real.com. Sign up right here under subscribe, and you will get a notification every time we put out a new Real Speaks current events show or a new Real Speaks 5G watch show. So with that said, let's dig right in. First, we're going to cover a basic understanding around what is 5G technology.
Basically, 5G is the fifth generation of wireless broadband technology based on the IEEE 802.11ac standard. Now, what's promised is that 5G will provide better speeds and coverage than the current 4G, the fourth generation. 5G operates with a 5 gigahertz signal and is set to offer speeds up to 1 gigabits per second for tens of connections or tens of megabits per second for tens of thousands of connections. So basically, it's offering a much broader bandwidth. And when you look at this this picture here, you see the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. 5G is basically the fifth generation.
Now, and we need to mention that this is what the companies that are putting out 5G, this is what they say it is. They're telling you that it's faster, it's better, it's more. That's the sales pitch. Let's define some terms around the technology that you might hear so that you can understand them. Millimeter waves. Most of our devices use frequencies under 6 gigahertz. 5G is between 30 to 300 gigahertz. They claim this opens up real estate for more bandwidth or more devices and faster speeds. Small cell networks instead of large cell towers. You need thousands of smaller stations to relay the signal, like 3 per neighborhood block in some cases. And massive MIMO, which stands for multiple input or multiple output. Instead of just 12 ports per station for antennas, the new stations can support 100 ports per station. Here's a very powerful image to show you the difference between 4G antennas and 5G antennas. So basically, the 5G antennas have a lot more microwave frequencies being put out, a lot more than 4G. They're polluting the air and the environment with a lot more microwave frequencies. We're going to get into what those do to your body in just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about warming, which is, as we said in the beginning, IEEE what the companies themselves are using in their description of what 5G is and why it's bigger, better, faster, more.
So beamforming, instead of broadcasting information in every direction, it would allow a base station to send a focused beam to a single user.
But here's what you also need to understand about beamforming. Reports from the documentation around this technology tell us that the beamforming technology cooked your eyes like eggs in World War II. So this technology is not safe.
And what's important is that it's being used as some kind of ability for you to have great reception, especially if you're in the city and you're moving through concrete buildings and so forth, that you always have this constant connection on your cell phone.
Here's some of the things that they don't tell you about 5G.
The frequencies used for 5G are much higher and not good to humans. The frequencies are greater than human skin barrier dimensions, meaning that your skin acts as an absorbing sponge for this radiation. Because of our sweat glands, our bodies are more conductive to this radiation, and 5G will cause our pain receptors in our bodies to flare up. Now, the U.S. Department of Defense already uses the same type of frequency used in 5G for crowd dispersal or crowd control, where they aim microwaves at crowds to make their skin feel like it's burning.
And we will show you a couple examples.
Yes. Now, in turn, also, microwave radiation in general can cause DNA damage, can harm plant life. It can pollute the atmosphere with black ozone and chlorine from the many satellites needed for these platforms. And it harms animal life. And think of the bees as far as bee colony collapse.
We'll be talking about that in future shows as well. Now we're going to listen to a few segments of an absolutely groundbreaking interview with a Mr. Barry Trower. Tavon, can you tell us a little bit about who he is and why it's important to listen to what this man has to say about microwaves?
Well, he is an ex-Royal Navy trained technician, and his skill set was specifically in fixing and maintaining microwave-based equipment. And basically that was a springboard for his career in that technology. In the military, and also when he worked in the MI5, and then later as an instructor. So he now goes around the world talking about the technology and how it should be used responsibly. But because of his extensive background, everyone should pay attention to what he has to say.
Microwaves are used instead of radio waves for all communication systems. Your mobile telephone or cell phone uses microwaves. The microwave towers are almost on every street corner. Along the motorway, you have the emergency services, microwave transmitters. The microwaves are now everywhere. And microwaves succeeded radio waves because microwaves will penetrate buildings, that they will go through concrete, brick, anything, whereas radio waves won't. You need an aerial on the roof for radio waves, but for microwaves, they will just go straight through your house. And of course, what people don't understand is if they're going straight through your house, they're also going straight through you.
And is that dangerous? We're told by the government that they're safe. Is there scientific proof to show that they're not safe?
There are some 8,300 papers, to my knowledge, going back to 1971, where it was proven in government documents that low-level microwaves will cause injury. The main symptom for microwave sickness, it is usually a suppression of the immune system first, followed by neurological problems where the brain is being affected, depression, suicidal tendencies. You will have more colds, more coughs, longer coughs. And then at the other end of the line, if you are unfortunate, lymphoblastic leukemia or something in that area. It affects, in order of people, it is always the embryo and children who are affected most seriously and first, followed by women, without being sexist, because they have very complicated hormonal systems that are affected by macro-technology. Then usually the sick and the elderly, and finally fit young men. So there is in fact an established pattern for microwave sickness.
You mentioned cancers. Have we seen an increase in the number of cancers?
Oh yes, and going back to your previous question, there is absolute proof. There are, to my knowledge, to date, there are 4 High Court judgments proving that low-level microwaves will cause cancer. There are 12 epidemiological studies showing that people who live around transmitters, particularly within 500 meters, will get more cancer, more neurological and psychiatric illnesses than people who don't. And there are, to my knowledge, 19, 20 if you count my latest one, there are 19 published legal judgments, not high courts, but legal judgments from mayors, councils, magistrates, ordering transmitters to be taken down where it is believed that they have caused cancer to the local population. So there is lots of proof, and 2 of the epidemiological studies, and by that I mean, for anyone who's not sure of the word, a study for about 10 years, studying all of the doctors' records, all of the populations. 2 of them were carried out by the industry itself on its own product, and its own conclusion was that these microwaves can cause cancer. So there is plenty of proof, government proof, legal proof, research proof. There is enough proof as to win high court cases, and people are.
Well, that's pretty sobering.
Yes, indeed.
This entire interview, by the way, is called Barry Trower, The Dangers of Microwave Technology. The whole interview is 2 hours long, and he is dropping some serious knowledge bombs.
Every minute is jam-packed full of information.
And it's really eye-opening. He mentioned some studies there. We just want to give some quick references to a couple of places where you can go and find studies. Here's one of them. This is Bioinitiative 2012. This is a gathering over 3,600 studies. He said it was like 8,000.
Yeah, over 8,000, right.
And all, so this is one site where you can see some of those studies for yourself. Also, this is saferemr.com. Go ahead and pause the screen so you can take down this information. There's always links as well in the description. This is the electromagnetic radiation safety site. So this is another site filled with more studies and more research. Everything that Barry Trower was talking about how this is not safe. There's been plenty of studies done. It is well known that this technology is not safe to be in the human population.
So he is aware of the studies going back to 1971. So we're talking about decades of research.
He also talked about some of the health symptoms. Now, we've got a couple of handouts here from stopcrime.net, and we just wanted to say that we really appreciate the work that's being done over there. This is some of the health symptoms. There's some confusion, short-term memory loss, inability to focus, brain fog. It goes on and on. So you can see this is just one half of the sheet. This is all from wireless devices. This is what microwave technology can do.
Yeah, and these symptoms don't just apply to human beings. We're talking about animals, insects as well. So when you see things like infertility or immune deficiencies, this happens across the board to all living things,
including plants,
yes,
and including trees,
yes,
also including crops,
yes,
natural disasters. It's all affected by microwave energy warfare technology. Here's another chart that shows some of the different symptoms. We have this one listed under electronic harassment, because we want to show you that the 5G technology is the same technology that's used for things like electronic harassment, microwave warfare, voice-to-skull technology. It's all based on microwave frequencies.
And the thing about 5G technology that makes it different from 4G and the previous generations of wireless technology is its broad band of frequencies that it can use to send signals. And in effect, what you can do with 5G is finely tune pulse widths, even the ones that happen to also cause damage to the human body. Now, when you look at the Barry Trawler interview that we just showed, later on, he also describes how by varying the frequency and pulse width, you can trigger certain anomalies within the human body. And this, what you're looking at here, are a sample of the things that you cause in the body when you hit the body with this radiation.
So let's watch a little bit more of this clip, because now he's going to start talking about a very interesting example about a group of children that were all fine and healthy, but then they experimented by putting up a tower next to the children, and you'll see what happened next.
To win high court cases, and people are.
Can I just clarify then? The industry's own research has shown that their product, mobile phones, Wi-Fi, transmitters, cause cancer.
Oh, absolutely. It's the most famous one was the ECLOG, known as the ECLOG report, and their conclusion, it was carried out by T-Mobile, and their conclusion was that these microwaves can trigger the cancer promoters and cancer initiators in the body. And one of the industry's other research projects showed that microwaves affected children to the point where children would lose sleep, because they can activate the brain. The microwaves can accelerate and activate the brain, and children would lose sleep. And published research in Scientific American Mind actually shows that when children lose sleep, they can become depressed and suicidal very, very quickly. In fact, I can tell you one story, if I may. When I was in South Africa speaking, a teacher of 30 years, and this is on the internet, a teacher of 30 years was the speaker behind me. And he said that in South Africa, he said childhood suicides were unknown. Misbehavior to the extent of severe aggression was unknown in South Africa. And he said as soon as the transmitter went up near his school, they started to have psychiatric problems with the children. And he said, today, all of my children, all 30 in my class, are now on Ritalin for poor behavior. The whole class is on Ritalin.
Now, there's a lot to be said about that. That was one case in South Africa.
Right.
One of our first 5G Watch shows that we did was called Cell Tower Gives Kids Cancer, and it was covering a story in America, in California, I believe it was,
I think so.
where a Sprint cell phone tower went up right next to an elementary school, and a whole bunch of kids at the school all got cancer.
And the staff.
And the staff as well. And we did this show, and of course, the moment you hit on something truthful like that, all of the disinformation trolls came out of the woodwork, and we got lambasted with people saying, that's not true, there's no proof, and just, it was ridiculous. There's so much proof, there's so much evidence. That's why we do this show.
Yes. Yeah.
We're showing you the proof, the evidence, the research, the studies, but there are people that don't want to hear it, and there's also people that are paid to fight against it, to deny it.
Well, this is $1 trillion industry.
There's a lot of money. We've done another show showing the money behind this. That's the Extinction Rebellion show. We're going to go more into that in the future as well, showing the budgets behind this. But there's a lot of money behind this, and that's the reason why they're trying to discredit all of this research and these reports. All right, so let's move into the concept of directed energy weapons, because we want people in our audience to understand that the energy that's used in 5G technology is the same energy that's being used in different kinds of energy weapons. So first, let's just start with a brief overview of what directed energy weapons are, and then we'll go deeper into some of the technology. Although some of these technologies are very ingenious, you will also see the damage and destruction such devices are capable of causing. So electronic harassment, right, we'll define that it's the use of electromagnetic devices to harass or kill another human being. These devices are also known as a soft kill weapons because they tend to be deployed over a target over a long period of time. The intended outcome is to make it difficult to prove cause and effect. Coroners would have a hard time ascertaining the exact cause of death without experience in the effects of directed energy on the living tissue. And finally, no one is going to own up to murdering you by using such a weapon because it's so silent. What is this picture on the screen here?
So what you see here is a DIY project. There's plenty of it online. It's how easy it is to make your own it's called HERF weapon, HERF. But basically what you see here is a microwave oven. You can still see the magnetron, this metal box underneath the black horn. And you open up the microwave box and you can, with some basic shop tools, you can fit yourself a black metal horn you see there into this microwave oven. And with some tweaking, you now have yourself a little microwave gun. And you can point that outside your window or even against the wall, facing adjacent to the neighbor that you love to hate. And watch your neighbor slowly die from cancer and then give yourself a nice smirk.
Here's another example of one. What is this one that we're looking at here?
So this is a more compact version of what you saw in the previous image. That's all it is, really. But what you see here is that magnetron I mentioned that was underneath the black horn in the previous image is actually part of the structure inside the horn. The metal triangle there is the horn, and the magnetron is that metal box with the tube coming out in the middle.
Now, what Barry Trower will talk about in his interview is this concept here. This is what everybody needs to understand about energy weapons in general. The use of such a weapon is also a violation of rights of the human being under the Nuremberg Treaty, which basically states that no one can experiment on humans without their consent or their knowledge. Directed energy platforms send pulsed signals to the brains of targeted individuals in mind control programs in order to remotely stimulate their brain, then process the response in real time using a technique called remote neural network monitoring. This is a method of collecting data on the physical, psychological, and electrochemical processes of the target's brain and nervous system by the use of instruments that remotely transmit energy to the target and collect the returning energy for analysis. Applications for such technology include erasing thoughts and memories resulting in short-term memory loss, the implementation of voice-to-skull technologies to disrupt the human psyche, the broadcast of negative dark neuro-linguistic programming, and using threatening abuse phrases to control thought patterns and behavior, disrupting sleep patterns, and remotely hypnotizing the subject. All of this is included in this technology.
And it's available today and being used today on people.
Here's one example of how this technology is a military-grade weapon. This is an interesting article from Business Insider. It's called America's Scariest Electronic Weapons.
And it describes controlling the electromagnetic spectrum is a major asset in military operations. The Marines recently demonstrated their painful heat ray, a weapon that blasts intruders with a wave beam that targets skin and makes the victims feel like they've stepped in front of a blazing oven, but without killing them. So, I mean, this is just an example of a modernization of things you saw in previous slides. As you can see now, instead of having one emitter, like with a single horn, which you have are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emitters in a metal tube. And again, the tube acts like 7 horns, focusing the energy out the end.
All right, so this next image is a little bit gruesome. So avert your eyes if there's kids in there or something like that. But basically, this is what microwave weapons can do to a human body. The next picture we're going to see is from the Iraq War.
Yes, yeah, these are images that were in the first Iraq War, dealing with someone who died from some kind of energy weapon. The clothes were intact, the paper is intact, but the flesh was burned. And this is what happens when you have unrestrained a governor over the power that's output from these weapons. What we saw previously, again, it's up to the user how much power they want to feed through that thing. But if you turn it all the way up, this is the kind of thing that can happen.
So continuing on, let's hear again from Barry Trower, because he's going to talk about how energy weapons, the same microwave energy warfare technology, was used at an infamous experiment during the Cold War.
So effective, if you're not in a hurry to get rid of somebody, they're so effective as a stealth weapon to beam somebody, and this has been done many times, and it's recorded. You can beam people you don't like as a government to give them cancer, breast cancers, neurological illnesses. You can choose what you want them to get.
You can choose?
Oh, you can choose. You can choose which pulse frequency you want to affect the brain with. You can choose the level of microwave irradiation and the speed that you want them to become ill. It really is a perfect stealth weapon, and all you need to do is rent a house opposite someone you want to get rid of, or a group of people you want to get rid of, and just beam them. The most famous case during the Cold War was the Moscow embassy siege, where in Moscow they beamed the entire American embassy and gave them cancer.
Did they cause cancers in all the staff or in a lot of the staff? Or?
Most of the staff, most of the children got leukemia, the women developed breast cancer, the gentlemen developed cancers. I think after about 18 months, the entire staff was changed, and then the following 18 months, the entire staff was changed again. And by that time, people realized what was going on, and they found that they were being irradiated by microwaves. And rather than say, oh, isn't this disgusting? What have we sunk to? They thought, isn't this wonderful? Let's develop this for ourselves.
So there you have it. It's the experiment or the discovery that people within the U.S. Embassy were being microwaved by the Russian agents in Moscow during the Cold War, create a springboard for these governments to in themselves look at this technology as another tool instead of exploring the humanitarian side of things. So it's progressed since then. We've had several decades of this maturing around the world. So now it's basically in the hands of corporations in addition to governments.
Well, when you hear a story like that, you realize that this technology is real and it's being used on the population. But what the companies are trying to do is say, oh, no, that doesn't exist. We would never do that. Just trust us. Trust that all these 5G towers that we're setting up everywhere, they're not going to hurt you.
And please buy our newest shiny phone.
Yes, get the newest shiny phone with all the smart grid technology in it so that it can microwave you even more. Now, hiding the use of these weapons is something that they do. So let's unhide them. Let's show you what some of these weapons look like.
Now, again, most of what you see on here, except for the image off to the right with the police using the crowd control weapon, are hobby kits. Mm-hmm. Most of these are examples of hobby kits. You can buy online. Not all of them are microwave. A lot of them tend to be acoustic deterrent.
They're sold under the auspices of like rodent and pest control.
Rodent and pest control hobby kit. Meaning sometimes they're disassembled, but if you got some PVC pipe and you got the circuit board, you put it together yourself.
Yeah, and you basically microwave all the mice out of your pantry or something.
Or just the sound. A lot of these are sound waves.
Oh, and sonar, exactly.
But it's directed energy nonetheless.
Direct energy. And over on the right is the crowd control technology that's being used, which is the same technology
Yes.
that is used in 5G.
Yes, that's right.
Now we want to go back to Barry Trower for just a moment, because next he's going to talk about what governments are doing right now and how this technology works on such a large scale. And this is important to keep in mind when you think about things like major crop losses that are happening, fires that can be started from like an office way far away that you can push a button and you can beam something over to something to make a fire happen.
Or in the middle of the forest.
Or in the middle of a forest, right? So listen closely to what he has to say here as he explains the governmental level of this technology.
And governments today are still perfecting warfare.
Still to this day, they're working on the weaponry.
Still to this day, 2010, they are still perfecting the pulse frequencies. It's got very, very sophisticated. The pulse frequencies, the how long they can transmit, whether it can be one country to another, bouncing the microwaves off the ionosphere, so you don't even have to be in the same country.
Bouncing the microwaves off the ionosphere, a lot of people won't have heard of this technology. You're talking about the halll.
If you have a super transmitter, the microwaves, if you beam them, it's only a simple basic trigonometry,
Yeah.
but let's say I want to bring economic ruin to a country that grows all of the world's wheat. Okay, all I have to do is beam microwaves up to the ionosphere, which is like an invisible cloud around the planet, an iron cloud around the planet. The microwaves going up at a set angle will reflect off down onto this country. And if I continuously beam the wheat in this field, or the cattle, or the sheep, I can reduce the immune system of the plants so that they won't be healthy and they will die, and I can stunt their growth. And I can bring economic ruin to that country. I can harm all of the animals, the cows, the sheep. It's so easy to do. You only have to push a button, and you can bring economic ruin to a country.
Which countries have this technology already available? Is it all the countries in the world, or just a couple of them?
It may not be a wise thing to say on a live broadcast, but you can take my word for it that I know at least 2 super transmitters in the world that have this capability, and there are probably more in areas that I don't have access to.
Now, I mentioned a couple things there. First, he was talking about crossing technologies. Also, just as a side thought, that brings chemtrails into the equation in a different way.
Yeah.
So in our previous show, we were talking about how the aluminum and the barium, these are all combustible materials, and they are layering all over the forest to make the forests and trees easier to burn, so it's easier to start fires. But in addition to that, the chemtrails create all of these different screens up in the atmosphere that you can then beam with different microwave beams.
Well, if you're targeting an area in the atmosphere where this chemtrail layering is occurring, by hitting it with that energy, you're turning that region into a plasma. You're almost making your own small, like simulated ionosphere by doing that.
It kind of reminds me, like, you know, the ancient Egyptian lighting system where they would use mirrors, and they would take one mirror and have the sun hit the mirror, then they would angle it to another mirror, and then they'd be able to take that sunbeam and just bounce it all through the corridor so that everything was lit up. It's the same thing with these microwaves, and the mirrors would be like different patches of chemtrails that you are using to create some kind of a boundary where the beam can bounce off of, so that you can aim where you want the beam to hit.
Yes.
So he talked about when beams are crossed as well. So this is an interesting form of technology we wanted to explain.
Well, so what we're talking about here, we're going to what is described as interferometry. Now, what you're looking at the image on the left is taken from Colonel Tom Bearden's website when he describes what happens when you have the cross section of two transmitters, like two radar transmitters, for example. Interferometry is a family of techniques in which waves, usually electromagnetic waves, are superimposed, causing a phenomenon of interference in order to extract information. Interferometry is an important investigative technique in the fields of astronomy, fiber optics, engineering, meteorology, optical metrology, oceanography, seismology, spectroscopy, and its applications to chemistry, quantum mechanics, nuclear and particle physics, plasma physics, remote sensing, biomolecular interactions, surface profiling, microfluids, mechanical stress and strain measurement, velocimetry, and optometry.
So basically, when you take two beams and you cross them together, what happens in the center of that there's a special phenomenon that can happen there, and you can utilize that to manipulate certain things.
You can use it to manipulate matter. You can also use it to extract information about that region.
Oh no, I can't read that.
Which brings us to a very interesting form of science called the Hutchison effect. Now, John Hutchison, which is a picture that you see here, is a Canadian inventor who in 1979 discovered the Hutchison effect. When John's Tesla coils, electrostatic generator, and other equipment created a complex electromagnetic field, like what we just showed you, cross things together, heavy pieces of metal levitated and shot towards the ceiling, and some pieces shredded. Upon analysis and thorough investigation, the Canadian government dubbed this phenomenon the Hutchison effect. The Hutchison effect happens when complex high-voltage electromagnetic and electrostatic fields combine in a region of space as to create anomalous effects on materials within. Effects observed included inertial levitation, transmutation, jellification, and embrittlement of metals. Now we're going to show you some pictures and examples of the Hutchison effect, but we want you to think about what's going on in California with the fires. It's very easy to use this technology to manipulate materials. Now look at this. What are we seeing here on the left?
So I think that's some kind of putty he was using in that particular experiment. And that video clip, well, the one glob actually went up towards the ceiling, but then the actual cup with the putty in it went up towards the ceiling. Now, on all of these examples, the four screenshots you see there of these materials were in the interaction, what he called the interaction zone, the cross-section of all these different fields that he was mixing at the time. You're seeing these effects. Which the last three, you're looking at what's happening to aluminum and steel bars, and I think that's a brass sample, or like barium titanate or something at the bottom right. But you see how these normally rigid, and if they do get like heated, malleable metals, they become brittle in this region when these fields hit them.
And we also touched last week on dustification and how it was energy technology that we believe was used to take down the World Trade Center.
Allegedly. And
we referenced the work of Dr. Judy Wood. And Dr. Judy Wood also talked about the work of John Hutchison and the Hutchison effect and how that collaborated with this theory of dustification.
Yes.
Something else Barry Trower hit on was talking about how there's these different satellites in different locations that can do things. And we wanted to just bring to your attention now that 5G satellites are out in space. So let's take a look at this article here.
Okay, so this article is from space.com. Space companies are investing in 5G technology. And the article describes how, with the promise of bringing 5G to the world, with the promise of faster better bandwidth, faster speeds, and more coverage, that this new technology is being built out for new 5G networks. Also describes how if you had a cell phone that's pre-5G, you might not be able to use your cell phone on the new platform, or what they also described as the new economy. Okay. They give an example of how SpaceX is pioneering the way for putting these satellites into space. It just goes on talking about how it's faster, experience for the end user. Now, on the business side, one of the big arguments for moving to 5G, as the article continues, is its ability to participate in Industry 4.0. That is this new economy, or what they're trying to call, what's being called the fourth industrial revolution. Now, we've heard that term before also when we talked about
climate crisis
and Agenda 2030.
Agenda 2030. So that's a key word.
So this term commonly refers to factories embedded with wireless connectivity in their machines and equipment. So this is the Internet of Things. And using emerging artificial intelligence is wanting to put this AI in everything, even your toaster. Okay. Now the goal is for the factory to monitor its own production line and to make changes as needed for safety, efficiency, and other needs. Now, some analysts worry that AI could replace jobs, and it talks about the possible rise of unemployment. But what's interesting about this article is this section here, in which space companies are working on 5G. Okay, now SpaceX has received approval to launch nearly 12,000 Starlink internet satellites, and recently applied to loft up to 30,000 more. And now these little satellites are called the Starlink craft, which operate at low Earth orbit altitude of 342 miles into the atmosphere. For comparison, the International Space Station orbits about 250 miles above the Earth. Okay, so again, after listening to what Barry Trower said about this technology, and every one of these satellites has an emitter, let's say a 1 kilowatt emitter. Just the idea of having 30,000 of these things with the ability, with the new beamforming technology, beaming down on any particular spot on the planet. I mean, if there's someone that wants to do a math problem there, could that lead to disasters that we have not yet looked at?
It's diabolical. It really is. And that's why, and again, in this show, we're not going to be covering the solutions because it's too much information to put into one show. But we will be covering solutions throughout all of our shows every week, other than on this one. But if they're putting 30,000 5G satellites out into space, there's no escaping that.
What do you do if the assault is coming from space?
I mean, what can you do? So there's things that you can do locally around your personal body, around your home, around your property. There's many different things that you can do to protect yourself from the effects of this technology. But the truth is that it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and if you're talking about a space-based platform that can also serve the purpose as itself, a super emitter, 30,000 emitting satellites in space, I think that qualifies as some kind of super emitter. Mm-hmm. And it's in space, the energy it projects crosses all boundaries. So now you're talking about a borderless wetland.
Also, yeah, that's true. But also you have to think in terms of receiver as well, because you can beam, but it has to be received by something.
But what Ray Trower said before is that microwaves, you don't need a receiving antenna. You just need a target. You just need GPS coordinates.
That's right. Thank you.
And if you're on your phone with that's broadcasting your GPS, be unfortunate enough to say all 3,000 provide you a service. And maybe they'll give you a quite speedily service.
Well, the reason why I bring that up is because in a little bit we're going to talk about being an antenna and different types of fractal antennas. So those are receivers. So there's things that you can do on a local level to make it so that you are not very good antenna for this technology. So we'll talk about a little bit about that, but it can go through you, but there's things that you can do to protect your health from this. And the health of your animals and your plants and your land and fire protection and all of that. And we want to just jump here to voice skull technology, because, again, it's the same technology. Barry Trower mentioned earlier in his interview that the microwaves can bring suicidal thoughts and depression and all of that stuff. In addition to that, it can also be used as a sound frequency where they can beam sounds and voices into people's heads. Now, this sounds really crazy and outlandish, but we're going to show you a couple of short clips that prove that this technology is real. And just in case, in the beginning, this is definitely a real technology. Here's some of the patents of this. So you can see that this exists. It's been out there. There's over 4 decades of research and development that's been going on with this particular.
So the information that was gathered over those couple of decades is basically the brain, especially the auditory section of the brain, is able to pick up microwave pulses. And it's known as the Frey effect. Now, this property has been exploited by agents to basically target individuals, target that section of their brain using intelligence in the microwave pulses so that only the receiving end, that victim, receives those signals and in the form of auditory hallucinations or voices in the head.
I also wanted to link this in because when we heard in Deborah Tavares' information that we went over last week, she mentioned that that 5G is mind control technology, and we just wanted to show these patents again. Let me just look at a couple of them here. You can go look these up for yourself. There's the patent number, and go find them for yourself so you can read through them. But this is mind control technology, and that's this. We just wanted to back that up, not just to say mind control, but not show you the real technology behind it, so that you can understand that it's a real thing.
Now, even if the 5G technology in itself was meant for greater bandwidth and the promise of great internet for the consumer end, understand that it can be exploited with its perfected large range of bandwidth to exploit, to provide even better resolution in targeting. This is over a year ago, this video.
Now, let's just give you an example of how you can use microwave technology to take a voice or a sound and to project it so that only a certain person can hear it.
This man, Dr. Joseph Pompey, he's got a thing about annoying people with sound.
Hey, you. Please wake up. I'm sleeping in the library.
Most people of his age don't know much about sound. The most antisocial they can get is turning their car's hi-fi up in a quiet neighborhood. Dr. Pompey has studied sound for so long, he's got letters after his name, and he came up with something a bit better.
That's not a speaker system. Now this is a speaker system.
The whole idea of his sound spotlights is to make sure that only one person can hear him, even though they're 20 meters away.
Hey, you there. You on a laptop. Are you downloading illegal files to the library network? I hope not. Hey, you there, studying. Miss, can you hear me? I think it's time for a break. Hey, you, looking at CDs. We're watching.
Taking the mickey out of innocent readers might seem a bit childish, but there's a reason why Dr. Pompey comes here to test his kit.
A library is about the most sensitive area you can think of for background noise and generating sound that people don't want to hear. But with the audio spotlight, we can deliver sound specifically directly to people within the library without bothering the other people that are reading quietly. One of the things is we can bring in a couple of Latin dancers, send them some salsa music. They can dance all they like in the middle of the library to all the music that they want without bothering the other people nearby who want to sit, read, or work quietly.
The system works like this. First, your voice is transformed into high-frequency ultrasound. Sound so high, no one can hear it. Ultrasound is highly directional, so, like a torch, it can be pointed at someone standing a long way away. Although they cannot hear the ultrasound, it causes secondary vibrations in the air around them, and it's that sound that person hears.
So if you imagine you're in a room and I shine a flashlight at you, it's very bright for you, but it's very dark for everybody else. Much the same way, the audio spotlight creates a very narrow beam of sound that you can shine at a listener They hear it very clearly, and it doesn't create noise that might bother other people in the same space.
So I found that very interesting because he's just talking about sound, and it's it seems to be innocent, like, oh, it's about music and voices. But if you can beam sound that way, you can beam other forms of energy in that way as well.
Yes, it's at the end of the day, it's still directed energy, and they all follow the same principles, physics principles.
Now we're going to round this off with fractal antennas and concept of you being an antenna, and we're also going to go into things like RFID chips. And because some of these things, this is how the technology is being used in general. There has to be some kind of receiver. So, Tavon, tell us a bit about fractal antennas.
So, fractal antenna, the idea behind it is that you can have smaller structures that can act as antennas, as opposed to having an antenna the size of like a large dish to receive, let's say, satellite signals from for your Comcast TV. So the idea of having a fractal antenna is basically size. So the smaller you make the antenna, the better, the more efficient. And it's just found that certain designs, these certain patterns used can actually function in this way. So these are other examples of fractal antennas. Again, these are small structures. Some of them can be microstructures of repeating patterns. Again, that's why they're called fractal, because of the fractal patterns that just happen to be excellent receivers of electromagnetic radiation. So what you see there on the left is basically a copper perf board used to make circuits, but it was fashioned in the form of a copper tree pattern. And that is an example of a small micro fractal antenna. On the right is a theoretical three-dimensional fractal antenna. Now, what you see that's the same in both of these is that they take on a natural characteristic, something similar to what you'd see maybe with blood vessels or other channels within living organisms or even the human body.
And that's the reason why we're showing you these forms of technology,
right?
Because we want you to see the connection between turning you and your body into a receiver for the microwave beaming technology.
Right.
It's very easy to do with the level of technology that they have right now, and it can go to human bodies in order to receive frequencies that cause cancer or all different sorts of things. In addition to, it can go into things like trees, forests, smart meters. You can aim at smart meters.
And this is intimately linked to the amount of heavy metals that is within the person, or let's say on the trees or on the plants, so forth.
And the next thing we're going to show you are RFID chips, and we want you to start thinking in terms of how small these RFID chips are becoming, and think about what they've been spraying in the air. Because like here is one example of an RFID chip. You can see it's about the size of a dime there. It's pretty small. A lot of people have seen these, and these are like little rice-sized ones that they would insert under the skin.
That's also what they put their pets in.
All right, but what about these? These are also RFID chips.
Yes.
These are like little specks of dust. This is how small they've made RFID chips. It's very easy to take stuff like this and spray it into the atmosphere so that you breathe it in, you ingest it, therefore turning you into a receiver.
Right.
And here's more about that RFID chip. This is the Hitachi RFID Mu chip. So it illustrates the feasibility of the the concept. See how small it is? It's the world's smallest low-cost RFID chip.
That can go into black pepper, and you wouldn't know that you've ingested some of these.
Yeah, smart dust.
Smart dust.
And there is the basic smart dust chip.
Which you see in that illustration also is this shell or like a protein coating so that your body won't reject the speck.
All right, and with that said, we're going to wrap up this show. Next time, we're going to be bringing you some of the examples of how 5G technology is being fast-tracked.
Right.
Because there's been things with satellites and 5G drones flying in the air above Hawaii. There's all different kinds of examples of how they're really rolling out 5G faster than ever. But until next time, we hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching.
Thanks for watching.
And we will see you next week.
So there you have it. My gosh. Oh my body. Let's just see if there was solutions. That was over a year ago. Then you got on the same channel, show you where you can watch it, Tanya. Real Speaks. You've got fast tracking of 5G means big money for industry. 5G energy weapon technology, to show you that one. Okay. Now the Rothschilds, California fires, 5G connection. So also, you got Bazaars, Bitcoin, PG, and buyers grab. So that covered that. I'm just trying to see if they got anything, a solution video they said about. It's a good, informative. It's got quite a few ones, but I want to look at the solution. I am Tanya. I didn't get any sleep. Well, I don't know how many hours. Well, I was watching SHP, listening to that one on, and I fell asleep listening to a podcast stream, and I got woken up by noise and banging in the corridor about 10:30ish. So I'm not too bad at the moment with that technology beaming on my back and my nerves. So yeah, I'm bedridden again. Yeah. So I was just trying to see the November of that one. So let's see if there's anything. What date? That was the 15th, right? Yeah, I'll show you the EMF protection website. Let me just go again on there. I think I found the website. Let me just. Let me just go back. They've got another link. I'm using this different. Let's see, you can say charge or book and this is it's an ebook because you got the audio. Someone's coming in the back door right now on the car park side. Yeah, it's the MK Ultra on top of today as well, don't you? Yeah, I thought so. They don't normally come in the back door. Doing the MK Ultra on me as well with the documents in post. gaslighting going on. It's demonic, Tanya. As I thought it would come today. Yeah. And chaos. Especially when your muscles are tired. Be line for me and then come specifically to hand deliver. It's not a normal one male place. I'm not going to do all this BS. This is demonic. It's very demonic. Supposed to cause a trigger. While I'm here, right? There's nothing important place at the moment. But my muscles are shattered to 2+1. I know, my around the back, my body today. Absolutely. I'll play the audio. You know, how the hell were you meant to function? You know? I have to, how am I meant to get my bits I need when I can't effing move, do you know? So, yeah. Ow. I'm in agony. My pain around the back. It's unbelievable. Oh, I need some heat. Oh, gosh. Can a woman go, a girl up really, really old? But this is what they believe you are, do. I recorded. Oh, gosh. I recorded this. Just run out of breath. You know. This is demonic. Oh, trying to eat my breakfast is a bit late. Okay. it's going to awaken. I know what they're doing. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm tired. Let's see if this audio plays. It's quite cold actually. The temperature's gone down. Let's just take this off this particular and have a look at the webcams. Oh, so that's informative. I want to see they got another video. I've got somebody sent me a link to this YouTube video on social media, and I thought, well, have a look at it. And I thought, oh my goodness me, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. So I thought I'll share this. We're all having this. Wow, the demonic NOW electronic. There's a woman, a lady on social media controlling. I don't understand. You got number 3 perpetrators kicking off at the moment. Okay, so there's another website. Let me see if I can get this up. I think it. That was the 19th of November video, and what you heard 2019 and saw. Let me see. We have no reason to believe 5G is safe, and that's the study's report. Is this like extinction of Earth, you know, in that regard? And then talking about Elon Musk, my son, he's following him because of this. They've got a really good YouTube channel. I think they've changed platforms where they are. And I was just looking at one of their videos if there was a solution. I want to see their website just because if they've got, I don't know if you can order this on. I will look for protection of the spiritual faith is important too. I just want to see if what their website also states. And it's very informative, real speaks. If anything, is education, isn't it? I just see if it comes up and such. I need to get some more herbs, turmeric powder to mix up to make a drink. Yeah, I've got the website. I'll share this in a minute. A natural pain muscle, just sign up for a newsletter of their website. Right, there we go. Okay, StreamYard. I'm gonna share the screen. Do you still have to wear masks when you're in shops? Yeah, Tanya, some are. Yeah, I'm exempt. I hate wearing the bloody thing around my neck. Card. I'm extremely tired. Hold on. I have to look how much cash I've got. It's like what's the name was saying? Yeah, earlier. I fell asleep listening to her. getting coins, you know, silver. The stock market crash and all this stuff coming up. I thought I might go to the bank and say, can I have a bag of about £10 worth or 50p's? Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? 50, because it's silver, isn't it? Is what is coins made of? You know, you like she said in terms of Canada, like nickels and things, American currency. But in England, you know, I quoted your 1p's, 2p's are copper-based material, and in the silver content, a metal, 5p's, 10p's, 50p's. So I'm going to start collecting a lot more then. And then having things to barter with, like alcohol, cigarettes, if you can afford them. I don't smoke. It's like baccy, you know, things to barter with that people might need. But he can only do so much. Yeah. What was I going to do? Oh, this is a website, wasn't it? I was going to share this other. Am I screen sharing? Screen sharing now. Is it cold over there where you are in Australia, Tanya? I haven't used the StreamYard in a long time because the other app that hacked into my network completely. I'm replaying everything I do. But the frequencies are really strong where I am, and I can tell. I've got to spread whatever I've got. I've got to make what I've got last. All my basic bills are covered. I ain't going to keep topping up things this week. It's just all I have to wait. Main thing is, you know, the wet wipes, the toiletries are important because I wanted to get particular herb. Oh, my head is really hurting. Oh, they've done a bloody 160 on me or whatever during the night. I've got to put some. What works is that type of music. The frequency, tones, music really helps. I'll do that in a minute. It's cold, is it? Wow. Okay. Here's a website. Let me just check it's coming across. Outside. It's a website, wasn't it? I was going to share this other. Am I screen sharing? Screen sharing now. Is it cold over there where you are in Australia? Sharing now. Okay, I'm sharing it now. Okay. So, the stimulation of current events, and it just gives you weekly show archives, special reports. They do Facebook, YouTube, which is the one I just showed you. I don't need to get that up because it's already up. Now, this is the one I found also, population control, and articles in this document. I don't know how I found it, but I did. Goes back to 1700s. So it was. I looked into this. I couldn't find a Wake America website. No, wasn't there? So I'll go back. So let's go back to the website. No, that's not it. I've lost the website. I did that. Let's see if I can get back. Well, no, I can't. But this is another website. The Secret, Ultimate Secret, and Majestic 12. This was another one. Think about. I mean, this is Top Secret Operation Majestic 12. Don't want to cloud the subject, which I was sharing about. This is basically powers that be behind a lot of things. And this is basically relates to what people at the moment are talking about on social media. A group, I won't go into all now, but you know, this so-called Central Intelligence Agency, National Security in America. And why do they create the name Majestic 12 and covert and its projects and names of them, and why do they create that? And then it goes into the majority of the 12 was made up of Nelson Rockefeller, a director of CIA, secretaries, chairmen of, and it goes a list. And it goes into the Trilateral Commission. Everything in the world goes back in history to the Council of Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission. The most important influencer wise men, they call them, of Majestic 12 were John McCoy, Robert Lewitt, and George K. Heen, Dean Acheson, don't know why. The president at the time was Eisenhower, and well as the first 6 Majestic 12 members from the government, also members of the Council of Foreign Relations. Yeah, so unfortunately the dark occult comes into it again, doesn't it? The Freemasonry, Skull and Bones. And membership during their college years. The wise men attended Harvard and Yale, and all were chosen from the Skull and Bones. Skull and key membership during their college years. Research indicates that various members are chosen on basis of ongoing invitation upon merit, and were not confined to those who had attended Harvard University or Yale in America. So if you want to know where the history of all this technology comes from, just anyone can research this. I don't know if I'm screen sharing this image. Anyway, forgiveness. You're welcome, Tanya. Blessings to you. Knock to the pubs. Are you able? Did you get much sleep the other day? Let's just check.
Cold.
So this is what is Skull and Bones. Order of Skull and Bones. America's secret establishment. Introduction to the Order of Skull and Bones. Bush Skull and Bones Society. George Bush, the New World Order. Last Secrets of Skull and Bones. Population control. The Order of the Skull and Bones in eugenic societies and population control. There's a magazine articles. The establishment As American Secret Establishment 1986 article, Modern History, former website, archive now. During the past 100 years, any theory or history or historical evidence that falls outside of a pattern establishment by the American Historical Association, the major foundations with that giant making power, has been attacked or rejected, and not on the basis of any evidence presented, but on the basis of acceptability of the argument. So-called Eastern Liberal establishment and official historical lie. So this is just gives you a background, and it gives you a lot more links if people want to research, and it gives you background. So explanations as well, not conspiracy theory, knowledgeable, based on facts. The members in the order, the membership of the order can be proven, and the meetings can be proven, and their objects are plainly unconstitutional. And this order has existed for 150 years in the United States. The order, what it is and how it began. So the order was incorporated as the Russell Trust in 1856. It was known as a Brotherhood of Death, and those who make light of it call it Skull and Bones. And so let me see what the Russell Trust was about. No, there isn't a link. An American chapter of the German Order was founded 1833 at Yale University by a General William Huddington Russell, who in 1876 became Secretary of War in the Joint Administration. And his father, William Howard Tate, the only man to be both President and Chief Justice of the United States. So the order is not just another campus Greek letter fraternity. There's a chapter 322, it's a secret society whose members are sworn to silence, and it's not all happy with probing individuals, known also as intimate such as outsiders or vandals. Its members always deny membership or are supposed to do that. Above all, the order is powerful and unbelievably powerful. I don't know if there's any other links, footnotes down below. Yeah, anyway. Want to see if I can find that blog. I'll just go back to this, see if there's... Right, for 5G. Behind the scenes of our homemade projects is a workshop 2021. More up to date article. Protection of the behind the scenes of handmade products. So they make these by hand. The process of making them, they must have a workshop. EMF protection. Let's have a look if they've got it on their YouTube channel. If it's the same one. Shanghai EMF organ protection. It's a different YouTube channel. Before I do that, I double check, see if this screen sharing. People going up a bit. Never sleep, always tired. That's not good, is it, Tanya? Sorry to hear that. Just check. Always tired. How do you cope? Do you have ways to cope? Tanya? It's not great. Sorry to hear that, Tanya. Demonic, isn't it? Okay. So let's see. I've got their website up. Yeah. I don't like a lot of working. Thank you, Tanya. I don't like a lot of working. Thank you. This is a YouTube channel. They're blocking me, showing me. They make these. They get the ingredients to make these. If you have the space. We're sending purple around my body. So there's the YouTube channel there if you want to know. We've just got the purple sky stalkers outside the window right now. Okay. And there's a website. And the research document. This is our fitness. You can get these on Amazon if it's easy. Anybody out there? Expensive. I don't know what the conversion rate in UK currency. Similar these can I might be cheaper on Amazon. I'm not sure, but I've got the app. But I think I have. Let me have a look. Yeah. Let's see the price difference. Right, so let me just do a search. Okay, so someone is selling crystal pyramid with a necklace at £34, which is cheaper. Right, anti-radiation, shield, EMF. They're stickers though. I don't particularly think stickers so much. Oh look, you got a necklace with a crystal pendant version at £25. Bracelet, £13. Oh, this is interesting. You've got an EMF protection bracelet, 7-in-1. Pro bracelet. Let's have a look at this. It's like a magnet built in. That's even better. I've got copper bracelets I use, 2 on each hand. It's always worth shopping around for your price range. Shungite, single stone, for water prepared. I didn't know you could do that. They sell, yeah. I didn't think too much of these phone stickers. Yeah, you've got people making stuff like this. You've got a set, you've got stones as well as a necklace, cheaper. But also, I suppose, when you're being targeted. I brought crystal necklace before, but the connection point of the chain, it wasn't that great. You've also got a pyramid EMF protection. It's gonna, I personally believe shungite, natural shungite, is a better protection. But again, there's multiple. If you're going to get one made of and the necklace is just going to be a cord, no question on that. I don't think mobile phone stickers do much good. But shungite crystal is the best to get. So this website, they make their own sheets for your phone. You get 5 of them for that price. So I suppose that they're making them. They look reasonable. Let's have a look. But that's if you're in America. I don't know who in England would be able to make them and you can get them. Wow, that's quite pricey. You got a communal garden set. Detox herbals. Let's have a look at this. That might be useful if you can get these cheaper. Oh, right. Yes, I knew this. This is what I knew. Dandelion leaf. This is a detox. Ah, yes. If you're still there, Tanya, this might be helpful. Herbs for the cells of the body as well. Well, I've got a crystal, I've got a necklace, bracelets, the copper one is I've had. It helps. Well, actually, you say that what you just said. It helps on my right shoulder. It doesn't help with the actual protection of the head. I wanted the shielding of the whole body. You know, there's only so much you can afford in it, and material wise, that's why I invest in this. Whoops. This is what I'm going to, if I can get the image bigger, I'm going to show you what I use as a powder form. This is what I get, and for a pack it's £14. They've got a sale on at the moment. Herbs and human cells are very into relationship, so this is what it says to help to heal. Now this is the other one I use, which at the moment, if they've got a sale on, I might. Well, I don't know if I could afford it at the moment. I'm just going down, see what else. Which I know that help. And it's the immune system they're attacking, so we need to boost that up. You know, for the heavy metal detoxification as well, because and then everything else that's going on. Let's go back up to what they've got on their website, because I already know certain ones. Right, burdock. I'll have to go and check this website also. See if they're cheaper to buy online. Well, from a known website I know of. Okay. You can get a tea or a powder root. Yeah. To get a herbal powder, you can mix in juice, which I find is a better. Is a similar price in my health food shop. There's £8 or £9 online. Instead of the tablet form, the burdock root, you can get the same. There's not as a high amount. The powder, well, this is even a better price. You've got the powder to mix, just mix it with juice or something, is £13. So, well, depending, you're looking at the size really, what you want. So I'm just having a quick nose. You can get larger sizes. Organic, I like. I'm looking at the quantity and the mg on it. You've even got a different type of, you've got different companies selling the same, but you look at the quality. Yeah. I'm talking about people from in England version, right? So this is quite a good one. For £9, what's a month's supply? Is this a powder? No, I'd rather get the powder versions of these herbs, which are already grounded, and you can just red clover is good. Let's have a look. Okay, so that's that one. Let's go. What's the other one I use? This one. So let's see what the bad actors outside with the carrying or going on. The gaslighters. No, I spelled that wrong. Bear with me. I feel it's a Wednesday, but it's Tuesday. If I spelt this right, bear with me, I've got to read this. Yep, I've got it. Yeah, this I thought was a similar food. It's £9. It's a green, what it is. It's a plant base. And what's the quantity? Yeah, I use this version already, what you've seen. Let's have a look. It's like Serena Power Superfoods. It's under Serena. This is let's have a look. The one I use for $3.70. Let's have a look. Well, £8 is the organic version. I'll get it in a powder form because it's easier to digest then. Let's have a look for the benefits. Turmeric powder is important to use black pepper, lemon juice. It's a point. Yeah, you can buy things a bit cheaper. I mean, I don't promote Amazon. But the one I normally get in the health food shop, right? Let me look at. It's selling at the moment. That's a bloody bargain. Oh, £4. No, £4. What's the quantity? What's the size? Let's have a look. £100. Or is that a smaller? No, 200 g. Oh, look, you can get it even cheaper if you buy the wheatgrass. What's this one? Buy 3 items together, you get this. Wow, that's a bargain. Yeah, if you shop around. I can't afford it though at the moment, but you can shop around. Yeah, £7. You see, you get all these particular ones. So this is really, really good. These are this one, radiation effects of the body, plant-based, dandelion. Also, I have dandelion tea. I don't really want heard of dandelion. These are drops. The bottle of drops, the health food shop expensive because they have to put the price on top, don't they? Because it's a shop. But all of these, what they're promoting on their website here, is all to help with radiation and you know what we're going through, and protection as well. Yeah, so it's all about researching what's going to be beneficial. Some people might be able to take stuff like their products, you know. This is the one. I want to get that image up. This, if they're on a discount, I might be able to get some. They're in capsules, but I like it more tea, not that one. Where was I? I have to take it in a powder form because of my medication I'm on, my physical disability. I need to make sure it doesn't interfere. So anyone else out there is research. If you're already on mainstream education, big pharma industry. You need to check to see if it doesn't interfere. What, you know. Yeah. And essential oils. If you don't, I used to do reflexology, so I know a bit about essential oils. Anyway, 2 o'clock. Oh, you still there? Okay, Tanya. Yeah, they are a lot of money. Yeah, and this is where you need to shop around. So different countries, if you know where you live and there is and you can afford it. Or if you've got a garden and you can know how to make up these natural herbs in a blend that's safe from your grow a herbal garden or spice garden. You can make it up yourself. But for those that are not able to, it's worth to shop around where you live, because the way the world is now, you might not get your goods. You know, when they mess about with your deliveries and posts in the Target program. So yeah, this is the one. I want to see if there is a discount. I just got to get the name of this one up. I can't see it. It's too small. Grinsine. Come on. No, it won't get. They're hacking my computer now. High strength version. Yeah, in my opinion, again, source. Let's just source of what the ingredients they say it is. I think sometimes turmeric powder with black pepper mixed with lemon juice. Something I've done before. I need to make another juice and use it as a tea, or if you want to mix it in food, and just look at what it helps with. The memory, the functions of the brain, especially when you're being targeted, helps. Yeah, you really need a high dose. Reducing stress, well, there's other ways with the frequency music to do that. What else? It's worth looking at the ingredients. Magnesium, one needs to look into that. Yeah, the root abstract for the quantity you're going to get. In my opinion, I prefer the powder. But I'm just going to see if the well-known store I know. Hold on, let me get onto a website. They're shouting a lot outside. always tracking our data, aren't they? Okay, go back roll. Oh well, give up. What am I trying? I'm trying to look for something. Right, green scene, isn't it? G. I can't look at the spelling. G. Oh, they do a tea. I don't know if they do it in stores, but they do a tea. And they do liquid at the like drops, but they're £14. Bloody hell. Yeah. Let's have a look at the tea. Chinese. Oh right, yes, of course. It's Korean, it's Chinese herbal tea. Don't think they have them in stock. Let's have a look at what the ingredients is. Oh wow, it's quite high in the root. 1800 mg. The nature's effective energy booster. Alternative to the caffeine. It works to reduce fatigue. Wow, that's pure herbal. That's natural. Some of these are just online, so you might not get some of these in store. And also, here's another tip: vitamin C and zinc tablet drops. You put them in bottled water as a drink. Yeah, but I always recommend turmeric mix. Right, let's go back to the stream. Oh, that's okay. It's a lot of money. Yeah, definitely. Right. Definitely. I think I stopped sharing the screen now. Where am I? So, the organ. Go back to veterinary other items. I do believe it's worth detoxing. Really, yeah. Definitely the first protocol is detoxing. Okay. And then of course the odd, what they make on the website. I can't afford their prices, it's too expensive. $63 on their website. They look really good, well made. Especially when you're in plazas, everything's around you. Yeah, they're quite pricey. They have I don't know what these sleeping pods are. The Faraday cage. I don't know how these work. I've never heard of them before. $77, you see. What is it? Let's see if there's any explanation. So how they, this is very expensive. Description. I'll play the description if it plays. It's a round. I used to get these years ago, these sort of things. I must have a look at my crystal collection. I think because it's a frequency, I think it's important to look at things like that to protect oneself from that. But anyway, for now. Let's see, I'll show you what people are doing on the beach, Tanya, right, in England. They're packing them out. I know they look nice, don't they? Very expensive, Tanya. They look very nice, but very, very expensive. And when you're trying to survive, you know what I mean? My goodness me, for the change weather, I'm going to show you in England how they're packing people out. Right? They're all on their holidays by UK coastlines. Who can afford these prices? I looked some things online, and they're like, it's like £300 or £400 for just a night or 2 nights, and it makes you wonder how many of these people are part of this program, the gaslighting program. And this is just one part of West England. South England. I thought they meant to have bad weather. So yeah. So I like what's going on in your country. Yeah, I was watching some really old movies yesterday. If you want to watch something different, let's try something. Really good. Some of these are really just if you like to try and watch something different. This individual's YouTube channel, I mean, uploads some really old movies, and some of these are really good. The old movies, you know, black and white, and some are coloured, and they're really good. If you need to just try and protect yourself and rest, and you want something to watch, there you go. Anyway, let's go back to StreamYard if I can find it. Here we go. Oh, right, you want to know. Right, let me go back and show it again. I'm so sharing. Yeah. Here it is. Chris Johnson. Okay, the YouTube channel. Here it is. It shows all these really good old films. This film, It Grows on Trees, is hilarious. So it really was great, and it was just nice to watch something really old. My mum used to watch these old films years ago, black and white ones, and you don't find that nowadays. The world is. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. I know. They're just like, did you see that? The one in the beach. Let me go back to what I was just sharing. See, I'll put this on a big screen so you can see it. This another wave. Right. Look how packed out on the weather camera. They're all spread out on this beach. This is just one part of England. West Dorset. South England. Just go, I could back to the beginning of the beach, right? It's empty. Right, early morning. Then notice the skies are really horribly rusty colour. So I think, well, I'm going to go and listen again to her stream because I fell asleep listening to it. And she's right to collect stuff on silver, you know, the way the world is. Anything you can get cheap, and that's, in my opinion, powder form. Because you can mix it with water, bottled water, to help the body, and anything material-wise that's cheap. Because at the moment, it's all about surviving. So that's Empty Beach starts with, right? And I think they just the weather to get people going on these. I can't afford. If I was able-bodied, I'll go to these prices. Not the way the world is. And people live there and nearby, but it's not quite. So in the lockdown, you need to walk by the beach. You know what I mean? Bad actors outside, they need a new job, don't you? So people start going to the beach. They don't start so quiet. Start packing. They start all pulling out. I could choose a better location, but people just feel the need to set up their stuff. And they want to be by the beach. To be mentality of people. Like a herd mentality. Starting to pack. It's like I all let's all go so we could all pack it out and spread it. But 5G, you just heard earlier. If people realise, look at them, it's getting really busy. And it just gets extremely busy. Even further on. So are they just changing the weather? It's out with the weather. Look at packed out. And what many other places? Look at this. It's really packed out in Weymouth. Unbelievable. So where they're all going to go to the toilets in Weymouth? I don't know the toilets. Makes you wonder. I don't know. Oh, go away. Bad actors outside. My muscles. I need some toast. Turmeric powder too. Oh, she's been dropped off again. Do you know I'm fed up with these people? Do you ears go pop, turn your head? I think I've been on for about an hour and a half. I've got to see how much cash I got. It's wrapped up. No, I don't get nothing. play. Let's get target. It's all packed out. There you go. Anyway, enough for sharing that one. Let's get back to ours. So there you go. Anyway, I've stopped screen sharing. Yeah, just chilling out. People on holiday, but I've got to check to see how long I've been on it. How many hours? Because the other app, they're just blocking me using, and hence I've been on it. 2 hours. Okay. I've got to go on. I'm just seeing playback to power that we use. They control the internet, don't they? Got that to put it all day. Alright. 10 paybacks. Look what they do monitoring me. Just a quick screen share before I end the stream, right? See for yourself what they do. They like to monitor you. Right. And you did, Tanya. Yeah. See? 11 playbacks. Powers up big. Take care. I haven't spelled that right. Protection is key. So, yeah. Best you can be, isn't it? So, now I'm just going to close this off now. I think I'll stop that, yeah. Take care, Tony. Bye.